Today, we're talking about a guy who pretty much rewrote the rules for how we see, well, everything. Sir Isaac Newton. His ideas are the bedrock of modern science, from the tiniest atom to the biggest galaxy. So let's dive into the incredible mind of this absolute giant.
Okay, so let me ask you something. What in the world connects a falling apple, a rainbow, and the planets way up there in the sky? I mean, they seem totally unrelated, right? Well, the answer is a single person, one mind whose curiosity was just off the charts.
So to really get a handle on his genius, we've got to go back, way back to the beginning. See, he wasn't born some world-famous scientist. No, he started out as this quiet, curious kid whose head was just buzzing with questions.
So, picture this. It's England, 1642. Isaac Newton is born, and he's a bit of a loner, a quiet kid. But his mind was always working. He absolutely loved making these super intricate toys and tiny little models of machines. His genius wasn't flashy, you know? It was this quiet, super focused, hands-on kind of brilliance.
And look, his early life was anything but easy. He actually grew up without his dad, and he was known for being a pretty weak kid physically. But that's where the story gets interesting, because his real strength, that was all in his mind. He loved being alone, just thinking. And that intense focus he developed is exactly what lit the fuse for his love of math and science when he got to Cambridge University.
All right, so this leads us to probably one of the most famous stories in all of science. Yeah, you know the one I'm talking about. The apple. But it's not really about him getting bonked on the head. It was way, way bigger than that. It was the spark, the aha moment that kicked off a completely revolutionary idea.
So he sees an apple fall from a tree, something people had seen a million times before. But Newton asks a question that would literally change everything. He thinks, wait a minute, why does it fall straight down? Why not sideways? Or heck, why doesn't it fall up? In that super simple, everyday moment, he saw a massive, universal mystery that nobody else had.
And that one little question led him to gravity. This invisible, universal force that pulls everything towards everything else. Think about that. The same exact force that made that apple fall to the ground is what's keeping your feet on the floor right now. And get this, it's the same force that keeps the moon circling the Earth, an apple and the moon. Suddenly, they were connected by one single incredible idea.
But Newton was just getting warmed up. He didn't stop with gravity. No way. He went on to basically write the rule book for how everything in the universe moves. I'm talking everything from a tiny pebble to a giant planet. Let's talk about his 3 laws of motion.
Okay, let's break these down real quick. Law number 1. An object is going to keep doing what it's doing. If it's sitting still, it'll stay still. If it's moving, it'll keep moving. Unless some other force messes with it. Simple enough, right? Law number 2. The force you need to move something is basically its mass multiplied by its acceleration. This is that famous F equals ma equation. And finally, law number 3. For every single action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
And these laws, they're not just some old ideas in a textbook. They are literally shaping your world right now. Think about it. The engine pushing your car forward, that's Newton. The physics behind throwing a ball or shooting a basket, all Newton. The massive rockets we launch into space, you betcha, Newton's laws are what make that possible. Even the simplest machines you use every day, it all comes back to these 3 rules. They are absolutely everywhere.
Okay, so he's figured out gravity and motion. Done, right? Not even close. Newton's curiosity was relentless. Next up, he turned his sights on light itself. He looked at a rainbow and basically decided, I'm going to figure out what that thing is really made of.
And just like with the apple, it all started with a simple question. A question that had stumped people for centuries, by the way. What is white light? I mean, when you look at sunlight, it just looks white. Is that it? Is it pure? Or is there something more hiding inside?
So what did he do? He took a simple glass prism. And one of the most famous experiments ever, he showed that white sunlight isn't pure at all. It's actually a mix of all the colors of the rainbow smushed together. He proved that a rainbow isn't some thing up in the sky, it's just what happens when sunlight gets split apart. Mind blown.
So when you put it all together, gravity, motion, light, you start to see just how massive his legacy is. This guy wasn't just a scientist, he was the architect. He literally built the framework for how we understand the physical world today.
He put all of his groundbreaking work into this one masterpiece of a book, the Principia. And let me tell you, it's still one of the most important science books ever written. Period. And people knew he was a genius back then, too. He was made president of the super prestigious Royal Society, and he was even knighted by the king, becoming Sir Isaac Newton. Not bad for a quiet kid who liked to build models, huh?
Seriously, his work became the absolute foundation for what we call classical physics and modern engineering. Everything we've built since, our skyscrapers, our cars, our technology, it's all standing on the foundation that he laid down hundreds of years ago.
And you know what's amazing? For all of his incredible world-changing achievements, Newton was still a pretty humble guy. He had this famous quote, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." He knew that science isn't about one person. It's about building on the work that came before. What a perspective.
So, that brings us to the end, and I want to leave you with a thought. Newton's entire journey started with a totally ordinary thing, an apple, and an extraordinary question about it. So, what's the apple in our world today? What simple, everyday thing are we all just taking for granted that, if we just ask the right question, could completely change the world tomorrow?